Alright guys, this is probably the final series of the 13900K AIO cooler and low profile cooler, any sort of cooler test. So this last one consists of this guy. It's going to be the Thermalright 360 AIO cooler. This one I got it from one of the Amazon return depots, and the box is in rough shape, but I was looking at all the accessories and the product itself. It all seems to be all intact and pretty good. So this is just I guess a quick installation video for this particular cooler. I'm just kind of following from the instruction. So the first bit of this instruction is telling you that you could adjust these spacers or little clips that you could adjust for the Intel mounts. So as you can tell, we're on a 13900K, which is a 1700 platform. On the Z690 Asus board, they have dual platform adaptability holes. So in this particular case, I can use either the 15XX style space or distance by pushing it downwards like that, or use the 1700. So in this case, I already adjust everything to the 1700. So this is going to be a quick pop and installed. It is typically different than the typical installation style of the Thermalright coolers. If you can tell, most of their coolers consist of a like a little mounting bridge over here. Doesn't matter if for Intel or AMD, they got a little bridge coming across. In this particular platform, as you can tell, it doesn't come with that. It comes with these brackets. Then you have to actually mount it onto the AIO pump. So I'm just gonna bring that over for you guys. So you got the AIO setting over here. You'll need to actually adapt these around to the sockets here and twist, which right now I'm having difficulty of doing it. So yeah, I was doing it backwards. So you just have to do a little twist as part of your installation. Now I'm just looking into this right now. So so you see a notch over there. So once you hit that notch, you could just give it a twist and it's lock in place. I think it's similar to I think Asus design of how to mount. It's probably similar to Corsair, but I was looking at the new version 2 fans. They now have a similar design to the Arctic fans. Obviously, Arctic fan still has less blades with more of a curve. Well, I mean, Arctic fan also looks similar to the Cooler Master Evo 212 fans. They're both pretty quiet, but we're about to test the default configuration of this 360 AIO, and we're going to continue with the installation on this Intel platform. So as typical, there's also a little spacer. On these bags, they show you it's 17xx spacing. So like typical fashion, we also require to have nuts on these locations. So I'm gonna find those nuts, and they're gonna be, they're these ones over here. Now I'm not 100% sure you should be mounting this onto the pump itself first, like so, or after, but I think it's probably easier to do that first because you can always adjust the angle afterwards too. So it's quite a bit of adjustability even if you mount this first. So I have to mount this first, and we'll have the back plate, which is this guy. Normally you'll peel these off and you stick it to the motherboard, it won't fall off, but for my case I'll have to take it off at some point, so I am gonna do it without taking out that alright, there's a little bit compatibility issue here. I think I have to use the 15xx spacing just because my cutout in the back of my test bed here is a little bit small. I might not able to fit it in there, but it shouldn't affect the performance at all. So I need to see if it can go in without disassembling or taking out the motherboard. No. Oh well, we're just gonna do a quick unscrew of my motherboard off from my test bed here, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, I got the back plates all hooked up. Now we just have to insert the spacers. These spacers are quite nice actually. One of them have a little bit tighter tolerance, which allow the friction to actually hold these mounting points in place. Now, because I'm using this on an RTX board, I think the only way to actually give me enough space to actually properly utilize the pump space is probably this way or this way. Now, for the ease of my installation, I'm gonna just kind of pop it in here like so. Obviously I haven't put thermal paste on. I will be peeling that off. Now for all my tests, I have decided to use the Arctic MX4 thermal compound because these big tubes are easy to find. And they're very budget friendly, and you could get them in different sizes, and they have pretty consistent testing results, and they're not by any means bad thermal compound whatsoever. So it's just easier for me to purchase where I live. I would like to get some thermal grizzly ones, the big tube ones, but they're just too expensive to purchase online. Now, once you have that in there, you take it and kind of just roughly screw that in there. Just want to make sure you're so that's why magnetic screwdrivers is such a good thing. You could just pick things up as you were, dropped it off. You pop those screws in there. All right. So we'll do a nice little star pattern installation. We'll crank out the last one, and we'll go backwards, tighten everything down. You don't have to like go crazy at it, just give it a good tuck at the very end, probably like a 1/8 turn. Yep, and there you go. It's on there firm, and it seems to be just slightly touching my heat sink over here, but it's not affecting its movement or anything like that. As you can tell, a pump is right over here. It's definitely not an Asetek design. Maybe the mounting style is similar to Asetek, but in terms like the pump design, it's not. The pump is definitely on a different location. We're gonna plug in this pump. So from what I see from this pump, it's definitely a DC type of pump. I don't see a 4-pin PWM. In terms of the fans, you got 3 fan sets here. Do they have fan headers for this? I need to find it. I'll just grab one of these. Now, typically, I think because this was like a return item or open box or something like that, it's missing one of these adapters or fan connectors, or fan splitter. Typically, you should get one of these. But in my case, because it was an open box, I don't really have it. But that's okay. What I do have in this case is just a straight SATA power to DC pump power. In my case, really, it really doesn't matter if I use the motherboard header or the DC power, but I think I might just use this just to see exactly how it sounds like as design basically. And we'll grab this header and we'll pop in these fans. Oh. Wrong cable. So I was actually looking at the instruction It is definitely listed over here by having the fan splitter cables over here. Obviously, in my case, I don't have it, which is fine. Not a big deal. But just for you guys to know. Alright, so last bit of the fan. I'll plug in the power. And see it boots up. It doesn't sound that bad. It seems to be pretty quiet. I thought it'd be a little bit more noisier, but it is definitely pretty quiet. Now, if you guys were to see my screen over here, I'm getting the lock started here. For this one would be the 13900K 360mm AIO, and I'm gonna start it. Let's see. I'm gonna save this to my test. We're gonna have the 10-minute test started. It's definitely really quiet compared to the 240. Way quieter. It's still, I think in terms of like fan noise, it's still a little bit more pitchier compared to the Arctic cooling fans, but it is definitely a step up from these older fans from Thermalright. Remember, this is the version 2 model of their AIOs, and I think the fans are definitely making a big noise reduction here. I would definitely recommend just use the default fans on this type of this setup here. In terms of the temperature, we're still hitting a peak of 78 here and there, but it is definitely doing it quite easily, and the fans aren't really spinning it up that crazy too. Right now it's doing about 1700 RPM, and yeah, so we'll let it run for the rest of 8 minutes, and once it's complete, I'll let you guys know. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're just about 30 seconds from finishing my test here. And what to say? Well, honestly, it's all about the fan. When you get to a 360 AIO, I mean, I would love to be a little bit more quieter. That's definitely for sure. But in terms of like performance, is it is definitely better than the 240, and obviously definitely better than the mini tower coolers and the low profile coolers out there. But I just kind of expect to have a little bit more quietness off from this particular cooler. But in terms of like score, I'm talking my score again, right? About 36003. Best score yet from all of my tests. You know what? To extend this video a little bit, I'm actually gonna install all my favorite Arctic cooling fans onto this cooler and see how those all perform. I'll be right back. Ooh, off camera, I found that the fan splitter from this particular AIO. It looks like this. I mean, I would definitely prefer to give us this one because it just looks a little bit better, but you know what? This will do. I'm gonna continue with the installation. I'll be right back. Alright guys, finally have the fans installed. As you can see, they're the Arctic cooling fans, and in terms of like quietness, it's definitely still quieter than Thermalright's new fan. But to be honest, if you're still on a budget and you just unwilling to ditch out another $10 or $20 ish to buy 3 of these fans, the default fans are just good enough. You know what I mean? It's not something that will break the deal, you know what I mean? But in terms of like quietness, I still prefer to have the Arctic fans. But so I have the computer now just boot up here. I'm just doing a couple of tests over here. Start logging this. I'm gonna switch to PC view. Now I just started logging on the hardware info 64, and we're gonna do that 10-minute test again on this new fan setup. And let's give it a couple seconds for the heat and the fans to ramp up. Honestly, my laptop fans is way noisier compared to these fans. And by looking at the score, it's actually not doing that bad. It's another 200 points above the previous one. But this is the first test, so we'll see. We'll come back in another 10 minutes and show you the results. Alrighty guys, we're just about to finish up on the last bit of tests here. And looking at the bars, I would say that the Arctic fans are just performing just as well, if not better, than the stock fans. So I think if I were building my PC, I would keep these Arctic fans on the AIO and use them instead. So as you can tell from the final score, it is 36052, and we peak our temperature about 81 degrees, and this is probably a little bit higher than the default temperature, but in terms of like score, I did not see any difference other than just 50 points of a difference. So in conclusion, my next build is definitely using this 360 AIO, and to pair with it, I'm gonna use the Arctic cooling fans because it's quieter, and it is coming up for a build, and it's gonna replace my very loud laptop that's recording this video, and hopefully you guys will like it, and see you next time.